I've just completed my 11th Everest here on the Steenbrust line, which they call the Madala Boulevard. When I pass the workers on the road, they call Madala. That means old man. So it's now been renamed to Madala Boulevard. I'm making this recording so that if I were to make it tomorrow, I will be rested and the emotions will not be as raw as they are now. This was, it's about, I finished around 9 o'clock and started at 3:30 this morning. So I don't even know how many hours it is. But the thing is, it was a long day. And I was on my own. I was the only rider, but actually not. Because there were two, me and myself. And we had a very, very long internal conversation for the whole day. Now, myself was talking a lot of nonsense, and the me was the one to correct it. And it's very important to know that when you're busy with an event like this, you can pity yourself. The myself can pity you, and the me can say, look, there are people that are praying today to have the legs that are paining and the tiredness that you've got, because they just don't either have legs or they don't have the health to do what you're doing. And another way that I play with my mind games is to consider that there are people that have done 4 Everests after another in one go within 48 hours, which is a massive accomplishment. So why can't I just do one? So it's important. And very important thing is people say, but hey, you've done 11, so it becomes easier. No, the heel hasn't changed. You still have to become fit. You still have to apply all the principles. You still have to hydrate. You still have to discipline yourself with regards to a lot of things. And it's the same thing over and over. You can't take shortcuts. The moment you take a shortcut, it actually becomes a serious problem for you. In the ride, it was interesting to see how you deteriorate. And one of the tips I can give you, if you select gears, get yourself those granny gears, which you think you're not going to use. You will eventually use them, because as you degrade exponentially, eventually that granny gear is the one that's going to bring you to the top. And to stay and ride supple, it's important that you do use the needed light gears. So get yourself a light gear like that. And from the beginning, I said to myself, there are 2 very important things that's going to happen, and which every time is needed: patience and long suffering. The patience is that you might feel good for the first 4,000-5,000 meters, but after that, there's a little man that takes a hammer and it knocks you on your knees, and he catches you just before 7,000 meters. So rather start slow and have if possible, it won't be a faster second half. But by riding at a vertical ascent, vertical meters per hour, which I choose for myself something between, say, around 700, and then I discipline myself not to exceed that. Although I'm feeling guilty, the next thing is patience, because it's going to be a long day. You're going to be between 15 and 20 hours in the saddle. And if you exceed and strain yourself, you're going to find yourself quickly blowing up. Then with regarding selecting your pace, it is a constant effort that you're looking at. Now, the constant effort is something which is personal to you. Therefore, I don't think in Everesting you'll ever really ride with other people unless they're your Sherpas. And your Sherpas are not supposed to push you to ride harder, but are there just to accompany you. It's like being available either to talk or just to shut up. Now, I'm a guy that I'm so busy with that internal conversation that I'm not even aware of the Sherpas around me. We are talking a lot. So I think it's important that you try and get yourself, you get a pace that works for you and which you feel comfortable with, which if you ride with others, then they ride on their own. Other thing is you will have good patches and you will have bad patches. Just work through them. If you have to take a break just to get your legs back, do that. I can't tell you how regularly, but if you ride too long before you take a break, you will pay the interest somehow. So rather hydrate, refuel, just get the tension off your legs. Even if it's for 5 minutes, you'll see what difference it makes for a couple of laps, depending again how long your laps are. In this case, my laps are about 20 to 25 minutes long and 3 minutes down. And in this particular course, which is a fantastic one, you can look around and enjoy it. But if you're in a descent where there are a lot of hairpins and corners, then preferably keep your attention to that. And if you do have a descent that's ending quite abruptly before you have to turn around, consider to use disc brakes, because normal brakes, it's a long time to get yourself to stop. Towards the end of your ride, you're going to lose energy in your body to warm you up. So you might find yourself dressing up quite warmly, especially at night time, so that you maintain body temperature and do not use excess energy for heating up your body. And as you are sweating, you are going to be like a water bag in the air. It's cooling you down. So do have your layering, especially the undershirts that does the wicking towards the outer layers, so that your skin stays dry. And it's, if you do consider to stay healthy, it's important to use a buff around your mouth so that you keep the air warm, and use your buff just to keep your ears in the cold, because it's quite chilly at the moment. This morning was 3 degrees. We are already now, although it's 13 degrees, it feels like as if it's 2, just because I'm cold and I don't have the internal energy to keep myself warm. During the ride, you're going to have a lot of questions coming up. Why am I doing this? I can just give you an idea that I don't have any spectators. I don't have any person cheering me on. I don't have to do this. I can quit any time. But as somebody asked me today, but what's happening? Why are you doing this? I said, what? I'm training every day. This is an event that I set myself to utilize the training for, and at least get the satisfaction that I've done something really serious. Everesting is some of the hardest events you can do in cycling. Obviously, in my case, to do the height of Everest, I had to do 225 kilometers. The steeper the gradient, the shorter the distance. And I don't want to be sleep deprived. Already 225 kilometers and I'm missing nearly like a night's sleep. Now just think, if people go for a low gradient, they do 400-500 kilometers, it's going to take them more than 30 hours to do it, and then they fall asleep on the bike. Now, on a normal flat road, you can start unfit and actually ride yourself fit during that, or you could freewheel at times. So with an Everest, there's no chance. You the whole time pressure on the legs, you're on the uphill, and on the freewheel it's so fast, and it's nearly I wouldn't say anything worthwhile. So it is something that you have to remember. If you're not prepared, you will pay the consequences. Now, if your mind, the internal components, the mental part, which this is, I would say 75% of your event is a mental thing here, where if you cannot overcome that by telling yourself why you're doing this and why you're suffering, why you're staying in the event, why you're not bailing, why you're not quitting, if you don't overcome that, it's going to be you'll be the fittest rider and you'll never make the thing, because you can just say the pain is not worth it. Now, I think any person doing one Everest in his life ought to be very proud of himself, because it's not something that happens by luck. It's darn hard work. It is a lot of suffering that you go through. It's something that you pay the price for, and there's no prize money. There are no there's international recognition on a website and in a Hall of Fame, but otherwise there's nothing tangible that you receive for this. So I think it's if you're going to do this for all the bling, it doesn't exist. You're going to be quite surprised. So I would like to encourage all of you that consider something like this. The principles that you apply in the Everest is applicable in life, in business, in relationships, in all areas of life. And there are very good parallels and, as they say, types and shadows that you could use from that.